This is an open letter to my pink skinned friends, in specific, my pink skinned friends in Uncle Sam's land. Here's the thing, folks. The next time somebody tells you, a politician tells you, that we gotta go somewhere and do something, for the locals over there, we want to, help them. Uh, don't take their word for it. Don't really, don't trust them that they mean what they say, or they even actually understand what they say, because it has become clear to me that democracy, although they keep advertising it that it's the best system, but look around you and see who has benefited from democracy most of all. And if you see that there is like a couple of handful of extremely rich people at the apex of the society in the Western Hemisphere, and they have stayed there generation after generation, that and only a few have taken their place or reached their place, and a few from that apex position have fallen, but there is always a few at the very apex of wealth and power, and mostly are at the bottom layer of this social structure in the West. Then you understand that it's a pyramid scheme. It's a pyramid. It's an old system in which very few reach the apex of wealth and power, and the rest are suffering. And this it has been repeated over and over and over again. It's just now they call it democracy. Now they call it democracy, but what you're getting is that you're getting the politicians or leadership of the society that you're getting is not really people who are working for the people. These are people who are working for that apex leadership, apex wealth of the society. The politicians are basically taking orders from those who own the society. So, and they call it democracy, but when you see that the people, very few people benefit from the system, while most of the people keep their livelihood keeps diminishing, and they have to put in more work for less pay and more work for less benefits, then you understand that maybe what they're selling you as democracy may not be the best system of all. Here is where I'm going with this. For example, Iraq, Libya. They say one of the reasons that they give you is that we went into Iraq. The best answer that they were able to give you was that the politicians at the top who went into Iraq to free the Iraqis and bring them democracy. The best answer they were able to give you, the best reason for that was they were able to give you, and for example Libya as well, the best reason that they were able to come up with was that we are going there to bring them freedom and democracies because the leadership of Iraq was bad, and the leadership of Libya was bad, and the worst person in the leadership structure of that area was, this person, and that person, this was Saddam and that was Gaddafi. And if we eliminate that leader, and if we change the leadership, replace it with some other cocksuckers, everything will be fine. We're going to have a democracy with freedom in Iraq and in Libya. It sounds good. I give them that. Because in order to convince you to, commit to a holy fuck up, they at least need to give you a good story. But here's the reality of the situation. In Libya, in Iraq, in all these shitholes, Iran, Afghanistan is a whole different ball game. But here's the reality. Imagine the world as of not of countries. Imagine the world being different ships. Every country is a different ship. A ship with people, with, imagine a ship with a captain, with people, with some cargo, with some workers, with some people on board. Every country, imagine it's a ship. Now, some countries are, very well run, and its inhabitants are very law-abiding and very educated, and very understanding, and very smart, and that would be like a cruise ship. So imagine Norway, imagine Sweden, imagine Japan. These are cruise ship. People who live there are having a fun time, fun life, having a good time with liberty and freedom and blah, 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 blah. So these are cruise ships. But then imagine that, first of all, we all agree that there's not only, cruise ships in the ocean. There are cruise ships, then there are cargo ships, that there are battleships, and then there are pirate ships. Well, imagine Norway is a cruise ship. But when you get to Libya is not a cruise ship. Will never be a cruise ship for foreseeable future. Libya is a pirate ship. Has been a pirate ship, will be a pirate ship for the foreseeable future. What is a pirate ship? It has a pirate captain who owns the ship, and then it has a bunch of pirates who run the ship. Shitty pirates, people with no morals, no real humanity. Pirates. Imagine the kind of pirates that they were, really tough motherfuckers, thieves and killers and womanizers and rapists and thieves and rapists, and one worse than the other. Well, that's the dominant culture in Libya. I'm being frank here. That's the dominant culture in most of the Arab world. Let's be frank, it's all of the Arab world. That's the dominant culture in the shithole I come from. That's the dominant culture in Afghanistan. When you say thieves and rapists, is, some rapists rape and, and steal, and they go to jail because they get caught. But a lot of these places, it is full of thieves and rapists who never ended up in jail because, they got away with it. And those who don't thieve and rape are the ones who are scared, who fear the repercussions, so they don't thieve and they don't rape. It's not because they don't want to, it's because they fear the consequences. It's not because they have a moral compass that they don't want to steal, or they don't want to cheat, or they don't want to lie, or they don't want to rape. It's not that. They're fearful of the consequences. Just like a pirate. A pirate wants to steal from the ship's captain, the captain of the pirate ship, but they don't steal from the captain because they know if they steal from the captain, they had their head chopped off. So they don't steal from the captain. And they don't steal from the higher ranks in the pirate ship either, same consequences. But within themselves, a lot of times they have these, they steal from each other, these squabbles, these fights that, we all know that happened on pirate ships. And a lot of time, the captain of the pirate ship would punish both sides, but the punishment probably wasn't as hard as bad as when they stole from him, the captain. So my point is this, that you don't have a cruise ship in Libya. Never did. Will never do in foreseeable future. You have a pirate ship full of people with very flexible morals. Not a really let's put it this way, and not Boy Scouts. You don't find any Boy Scouts in Libya. You don't find very moral people in Iraq. It's a pirate ship. And to say that if we go in and we just cut down this captain, the captain of the pirate ship, if we cut him down, if we take him out of the scenario, the pirate ship is suddenly going to become a cruise ship, is baloney. As Mr. Biden says, it's hogwash. Does he say hogwash or whatever he says? Here's the thing, it doesn't work like that. The mind structure, the understanding that the people of different areas of the world have is very different from each other. Democracy, and for example, democracy and freedom could not really be given to the American settlers when they were taking over the land from the Redskins. The Pinkskins, who were taking over the land from the Redskins, had very little. They were not. Let's put it this way: they were not Boy Scouts. They raped and killed and enslaved and raped and killed and enslaved, and went forward. Very little moral ground to stand on. That was that's why many people, cringe when they see that the Thanksgiving comes about, because it's baloney. People who first settled and settled North America, they weren't Boy Scouts. They were cringeworthy. These were people with very flexible morals. Raping and killing and stealing and cutting people's heads off was not very, it was a matter of fact kind of thing for people who first, invade another land and take it over from the locals. That's just what it is. That's why Australia, in case of Australia, the British sent in their most vicious animals they opened their jails and they sent the animals to Australia to take over the land, and they didn't want to hear about it. Do whatever you have to do, go take over the land. At least you're pink skin like me, and those are black skins. You go ahead, go over there and do whatever you have. So imagine trying to bring freedom and democracy to the Old West, the frontier. It's sort of like democracy, so you're telling me that, these people who are at each other's throat, they can sit around the table and vote? Do they have the capacity to do that? Do they have the cognitive ability to do that? They don't. They don't. So why do you think that such primitive people that are living in primitive in terms of culturally, intellectually, primitive people that are living in a pirate ship such as Libya, or in a pirate ship such as Iraq, they can be given freedom and democracy with no oversight. We're going to remove the current government. You know what happens when a pirate ship captain is killed or removed, whatever you want to call it? What happens is exactly what has been happening in Libya for the past 20-30 years since Gaddafi died. What has been happening in Iraq for the past 20-30 years since Saddam was removed. What is happening in Afghanistan for the past 20-30 years because that little stability that one of those shitty groups had created over there was disturbed. What happens in a pirate ship when the captain dies is the pirates form different factions in the ship. Each one of those lower rank pirates have a loyalty towards one of the higher ranking officers, and they start cutting each other. They start attacking each other, they start cutting each other until one of the faction wins, either by killing off the other factions or by, forcing them to give up and and become obedient to the leader of one of the factions that seems to be the stronger one, with more members or more supplies or more resources. So in no way the changing of the guards in a pirate ship, the changing of the leadership in pirate ship can ever be peaceful. No way. The morals is not there. The understanding is not there. They're pirates. They're fucking pirates. Their moral code is the moral code of the pirates, and there is no honor amongst thieves. They don't do anything based on honor, just like they don't do anything based on honor in Libya. They don't do anything based on honor in Iraq. They don't do anything based on honor in Iran. Honor is a very flexible thing over there. If you're not from my tribe, you cannot count on my honor. I will cut your head off. This is how they look at life. If you're not from my clan, then I can act in a very dishonorable manner towards you, and I don't feel at all guilty. This is how they look at life, and they are all clans. Just like a pirate ship has different factions, different loyalties to different high-ranking officers, in a place like Libya, it's the same thing. There are loyalties that the lower rank people have towards different higher rank people within that society. And once you remove the top guy, the captain of the pirate ship, they jump at each other's throats and they fight until one becomes dominant. Who becomes dominant? Another cocksucker like the one they had before. You cannot, the captain of pirate ship cannot suddenly become a moral person, because you haven't changed the pirate ship. You haven't changed the individuals who are part of that ship. You haven't changed the ship. It's sort of like, the only way to change a pirate ship into a cruise ship is to eliminate everyone who's living on that fucking pirate ship and then bring new folks in and say, okay, now you can have this ship. That's the only way that happens. The only way that you can change a pirate ship overnight is if you nuke it. You nuke a pirate ship, eliminate all the inhabitants, and then bring in new people from outside in quite many years later, because even if when you nuke it, it's going to be radioactive for many years and unlivable. I'm just, metaphorically I'm speaking. You cannot change societies that are malformed like these old societies of the Middle East or Africa or South America. You cannot force change on them thinking that if we change the leadership, the one person or just the top leadership or the whole group of leaders, if we change that, the whole thing is going to change. No. It's a pirate ship. You change the leadership, you throw in more confusion, more bloodshed. We just saw. Because nothing happens in a pirate ship, nothing orderly ever happens. Everything happens out of fear. Everything happens out of fear and greed. Fear and greed. Fear and greed. Nothing happens based on logic and humanity. You give freedom to a pirate ship, the pirates, the first thing they're going to do is to kill the captain. And then they start infighting within each other. You give freedom to a pirate ship, the first thing the pirates are going to do is kill the captains and then start killing each other. Form factions and start killing each other because each one of them wants to be on top. This is simple to understand. So whoever tries to sell you the next war based on humanitarian grounds, all you have to do is understand that the people who are living under that system, they're not Boy Scouts. They are not, simple, wholesome, educated, intellectual, moral people living there under the rule of that so-called, dictator. You should understand that those are not good people living under him. Because the French have a saying. They say people deserve the government that they get. People deserve the government that they get. And it was meant for a long time. It was very difficult for me to understand this. Probably it is for you as well. What they mean by this is exactly this: that a pirate ship needs a pirate ship captain. A pirate ship cannot be run with a cruise ship captain. A pirate ship needs somebody, a pirate as wishes themselves, as as big of an ass as themselves, as rapist as themselves, as thievish as themselves, in order to create some kind of order in that pirate ship. If you put a cruise ship captain in charge of a pirate ship, if you take the leadership from, let's say, United States and put that leadership in charge of Afghanistan, he's not gonna be hold the fucking Afghanistan together. It's a pirate ship. You can't have a cruise ship captain. The cruise ship captain wouldn't know where to begin. Everybody who talks to him is going to lie to him. Everybody who talks to him is trying to deceive him, because that's how the pirate ship functions, based on lies and deception and selling out your friends and family, based on fear and greed. That's how a pirate ship is run. How the people in the pirate ship behave. They behave based on fear and greed. You cannot bring an intelligent man, an educated, an intellectual from, somewhere else in the world and put them in charge of a pirate ship. You can't even pick an intelligent, intellectual people from amongst the pirate ship and put him in charge by force and say, hey, for example, you're an intelligent, intellectual Iraqi, here, you sit and become the king of the Iraqis or the president of Iraqis. It's going to fail because it's a pirate ship. An intelligent, intellectual human being cannot run a fucking pirate ship. End of story. And as a footnote here, in the footnote, Afghanistan is worse than all of these, because Afghanistan doesn't even have a unified identity either. Libya has more or less a unified identity. Iraq more or less has a unified identity. Afghanistan doesn't even have that. Afghanistan is like the Caribbean. It's like has many pirate ship running Afghanistan. Every faction is a pirate ship. You can consider metaphorically at every group faction that is of these fucking cocksuckers in Afghanistan can be considered as a pirate ship on his own, because of the physical geography and terrain of Afghanistan that is, mountainous with pockets of flat land, and in each one of these pockets of flat land you have a different faction and different groups are formed. It's like a collection of pirate ships. And that's why you found Al-Qaeda, whatever the fuck they call them, in Afghanistan, because between all these pirate ships, who's in charge? Who knows? What is one pirate ship more, one pirate ship less? Any cocksucker with a few dollars can form his own pirate ship in Afghanistan, form his own faction here, recruit some poor jackasses around him and feed them some kind of ideology and form his own pirate ship. The pirate outfit. There's a pirate outfit of Taliban, and there's a pirate outfit of Al-Qaeda, and then there's a pirate outfit of ISIS, and then there is pirate outfit of Haqqani, and there's a pirate outfit of Naqqani, and there's a pirate outfit of Chaqqani, and you have a collection of pirate ships with not even a single identity. All different identities, different languages, different races. You can't make a cruise ship in Afghanistan in 100 years. You can't. It's just not gonna work. It's not even one ship to say, hey, it's one ship. It's not even a one pirate ship. It's a a collection of pirate ships. It's like a fucking Caribbean 200 years ago. So, and my objection is not that they're pirate ships and why are they pirate ship and what can be done about it. There are some things that can be done about it to help the situation, but war is not one of them. Removing the captain of the pirate ship is not a solution. As I said, it just makes the situation much more bloody. Makes the situation much more worse. So, and what I am disappointed of is that what you consider as a democracy in the West is supposedly supposed to bring the best minds to power, the most qualified people to power, the greatest intellectuals. Supposedly the cream of the crop should rise to the surface in the Western democracies. What I find out is that that's not the case. It's sort of like, forget about those pirate shitholes. The West keeps saying that democracy is the best form and everything works out well in democracies because the best rise to the top and the most qualified. But the problem is what you see is not it. You see that people who are unqualified, who don't understand this simple matter of you cannot bring freedom and democracy in Libya, at least not for foreseeable future. People who understood this didn't come to power in the West. People who didn't have a clue, or worse, who had malicious intentions, came to power and decided to go and fuck up Libya, remove the pirate captain from Libya. And that wasn't their fault. They have a pirate ship and they had some kind of stability and security in that fucking pirate ship. But for the West to claim that no, we should go over there, for the leadership who decided to go over there and remove the pirate captain, promising that everything is going to be better if we remove this pirate ship captain, that is disappointing. How come the West that says democracy is the best system and the smartest and the most qualified people reach the top in democracy, or at least qualified people reach the top in democracy? That's not the case. A bunch of yahoos became the captains of these great democracies, these great cruise ships. These unqualified captains became the unqualified leaders became the captains of these great so-called democratic cruise ships. In case of United States, just democratic battleship, and then smashed these pirate ship. They didn't smash them, they made them worse. These unqualified people who weren't intelligent enough or who were malicious enough got involved with these pirate ships, killed the captains, and for years and years now those pirate ships are bloody and they're killing each other. The factions are killing each other in order to find the next pirate captain from amongst them. That's the part that's disappointing. They're pirates. Yeah, we know they're pirates. They have been pirates for eons. But how is it that the leadership in the West became so incompetent not to recognize the correct solution for Iraq and Libya, and not go down the path of war, which was not the correct solution in case of these pirate ships? Here's the thing. The solution to these pirate ships It's not war. It's not removing the captain from the leadership. It's not war forceful. It's not revolution. It's none of that. The solution to pirate ships is more contact. You don't want to fuck with the leader. You don't want to change the leadership because that leader is a vicious cocksucker who has been able to bring some kind of order within that ship of vicious cocksuckers. You don't want to touch the leadership because the order that has been created is good. The order that was created in Libya was the reason that France was not overrun by African migrants. Gaddafi had created an order, security, and stability and prevented France being overrun by his own people and other people from Africa. So you don't want to touch the pirate captain. What you want to do is start from the bottom, start educating and enlightening the lower levels of the pirate ship. You want to enlighten and educate and, humanize, civilize the lower rankings of the pirate ship until you reach the top. That's the only way this is going to work. Because if you remove the top and the bottom are still pirates, situation is going to get worse. It was a secure and stable pirate ship, and once you remove the ruling structure, it becomes an insecure and unstable pirate ship. Bad for itself, its inhabitants, even worse for the neighboring ships. You want to slowly, over decades, try to enlighten and educate the lower levels of the pirate ship, civilize them, educate them, enlighten them, civilize them, educate them, enlighten them, so they obtain some kind of moral compass, some kind of understanding of the world around them, some kind of enlightenment, and slowly over time, even that pirate captain slowly will mellow because he will see that the people under him are becoming, more civilized, so the captain doesn't have to impose such harsh measures that are normally imposed in a pirate ship in order to keep order. That's where the French comes in, that it says people deserve the government that they get, is because usually the government is not sadistic. The government applies measures as harsh measures that is needed to keep order. So the whole idea of saying that we should measure human rights in Libya by the Western standards, again, hogwash. You cannot measure human rights between a cruise ship and a pirate ship. Human rights in a cruise ship should be measured differently, and human rights in a pirate ship has a different meaning. It just is. Human rights in a cruise ship has one meaning. Human rights in a pirate ship has a different meaning. When you're dealing with pirates, uneducated, uncultured, uncivilized pirates, human rights has a different meaning. First, you have to raise the level of those pirates, the lower ranking pirates, educate them, enlighten them, civilize them. Then you should tell the captain that, then you don't even have to tell the captain to, you know, abide by human rights. Slowly over time, the captain, you know, sees there's no reason for such harsh measures and harsh punishments in order to keep order. The leadership always in every country, in every ship, has to apply as much pressure as is needed to keep order. Now you in a pirate ship, they need to apply harsh measures in order to keep order, or else they have anarchy. In a cruise ship, not so much. A very light hand will do. So you can define, you know, human rights in a you have to define human rights in a cruise ship in a different way that you have define human rights in a pirate ship. And if the question rises that, okay, not everybody in that ship is a pirate, well, yes, mostly are pirates. In that pirate ship, mostly are pirates. Those who leave the ship and cannot live in that ship, you should give asylum to. You should accept in the West, because these were the ones who could not live by the code of pirates. So they decided to leave. But a lot of most of people who are living in those shitty pirate ship, they have become accustomed to the pirate ship. They lie just as bad as their neighbor. They cheat just as bad as their neighbor. They deceive just as bad as their neighbor. They have become accustomed to the pirate ship. And they teach their children how to lie and cheat and deceive and lie and cheat and deceive. End of story. And mostly get it, understand, mostly not get it, mostly, you know, conform to their surrounding in order to survive. My own father, for example, many times he told me that I don't lie enough. I should lie more, because if I want to survive in that society, in that shithole that I was born in. He told me many times over years, decades, from the early childhood. He told me that why I should lie. I should learn to lie more if I want to survive in that society. And he was right. I can't survive in that society because I don't want to lie. You see where I'm going with this? A small percentage of the people of those societies which decide that they don't want to adopt the pirate rules, the pirate culture, they have to leave. And it would be nice if you give them asylum in the West. But you should not try to change the leadership in the pirate ship. Changing the leadership will not make the situation worse. You need to, if you want to help, you need to, you know, try to change the lower levels of the society, enlighten them, educate them, and civilize them, and raise the level, and eventually over time, those leaders, or, you know, whoever takes their place in the fullness of time, will eventually treat their people with a lot more, you know, with less harsh measures, i.e., will abide by some kind of human rights that the current West recognizes or applies. And how do you change the lower levels of the society? By more interactions, by more trade. More interactions, more trade, don't sanction them, don't embargo them, don't tell them to go stand in a corner. That's worse. For a pirate ship to stay a pirate ship, you if you don't interact with a pirate ship, if you ban the pirate ship from ever coming to port, and if you don't interact with them, it's going to stay a pirate ship, period. Because the culture is not going to change, because they haven't had any interaction with anybody else because of your restrictions. So for a larger society if the larger society in the planet wants to bring these pirate ships into enlighten these pirate ships, make cruise ships out of these pirate ships, you need to do the opposite of sanctioning and embargoing. You need to interact more, send more of your people over there, take more of your people in, give more interaction, more trade, more interaction, until the local peoples become more civilized. By interaction with civilized people, the locals would become more civilized. As simple as that. More tourists and more trade, no bombs. Bombs doesn't solve the pirate ship problem. No killing. It doesn't solve the problem. Well, unless you're thinking of nuking the pirate ship. In that case, you have to nuke all of Africa and all of Asia and all of South America. You have to nuke everywhere. And if it's not a cruise ship, then you gotta nuke it. Doesn't make sense. Then that would be, the epitaph of colonialism, the epitaph of racism. It's like, we got it, they are not getting it, we're going to eliminate them totally and take over their lands.